everybody, it's Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. Welcome to the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast, where our attention's kind of split at the moment. It's me, your man, MG Marcas Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio. No Laquan Jones today. He is doing research for the network for Inside Training Camp. So, I don't know, maybe we can you can text him and tap in, see if he can give us some, information about what's going on or something. That'd be fun.
He's going to find the sixth string running back and be like, this is someone you need to add to your watch list right now.
This is prime time for RB3 right now, for sure. I say that we are a little bit distracted at the moment because Florio and I, and Laquan, actually, for that matter, we are all right now doing a live mock draft. Our friend Andrew Cooper over at Fantasy Alarm is doing a Superflex mock draft. He's going to be writing about it, so keep your eye out. If you don't follow him, you should absolutely do that across social media platforms. So we agreed to be in the mock. It's happening at this exact time. We said we might talk about it a little bit. We may talk about it on occasion throughout this pod, but if one of us pauses awkwardly in the middle of a sentence, it's probably because we are on the clock. In fact, we are we're in the third round right now. Who have you taken with your first two picks?
I'm on deck with my third, but it's a super flex. So pick 3 is the pick you want in a super flex, in my opinion, because I think there's a clear cut top 3. And I just got sniped. I wanted AJ Brown. So I'll take So I took Josh Allen at 3. He fell to 3. And then I took Devon Achane, who I love, at the end of round 2. And I'm going to take very polarizing player on this show, Vlad McConkey, with my third overall pick.
All right. And you said you're picking from the third spot. So
yeah.
I am picking from the 8th spot. So by the time it came around to me, no surprise in a super flex, most of the top quarterbacks were gone. So instead, at the number 8 pick, I went with Bijan Robinson, who, by the way, we have learned officially, it is Bijan. It is not Bijan. It does not rhyme with a type of mustard. Yeah.
I will apologize in advance that Bijan is going to slip out of my mouth at least a couple of times this preseason.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of folks are going to have to readjust at that. So, but I took Bijan Robinson with the number 8 pick. And then on the return, the 5th pick in the second round, I was like, well, I got to get at least one quarterback before the first 2 rounds are up. So I took Patrick Mahomes, and I am 2 picks away trying to figure out what I do with my next move here.
The Laquan team is very Laquan.
I saw he just took Tyreek Hill in the third round.
He has Joe Burrow, Bo Nix, Tyreek Hill.
Oh, yeah, it's 100% a Laquan team.
You could have guessed it by covering up the names.
Yeah. All right, so there you go. So we'll kind of keep you updated on kind of what is happening, what things are going on in this mock draft as we continue. But be sure to go follow Andrew Cooper if you don't already at Fantasy Alarm. Once this is over, he's going to do a big write-up on sort of what happened, and you can kind of get the taste of it. But a lot of interesting names here. Dave Kluge, Mike Fiala, Jagger May. A lot of really interesting people. In Andrew Erickson also in this draft as well. Oh, I'm on the clock now. So do I take my second quarterback and just be done with it? Or do I do something else? I got another pick coming up relatively soon. So I'm going to get my second quarterback. I'm going to take Baker Mayfield.
Okay. Yeah, you can't. You can't go wrong there.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, there's another name there that maybe I wanted. But you know what? I'm fine. I'm fine with Baker. So I got Baker Mayfield in the third, Patrick Mahomes in the second, Bijan Robinson in the first round. So, yeah.
I'm happy that you and LQ have 2 quarterbacks because now I could say this. No one else is hearing this right now. Justin Fields might make it to me. I was afraid he might not make it past you guys.
Yeah. All right. That would be a very Florio team if you got him. We are talking today about offenses that maybe we're avoiding, but we're doing our best to make a case for at least one guy on all of these bad offenses, at least projected to be bad offenses, right? Because I was having a conversation with somebody recently. We were kind of running down a list of all these teams where it's like, do I really want somebody off this roster? And, I feel like if we look at it and we actually think about it, every roster has at least 1 or 2 players where you can make a strong case for. And it wasn't just a yeah, I guess I'll take this guy if he falls to me at ADP. But like guys you can look at and say, you know what? I can make a really strong case why you should be drafting this player. So we're going to try to do that today as well. Also, we've got football-like substance coming up this week. We are 2 days away from the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. So we'll kind of preview what we expect for that. Obviously, look, I always refer to it as football-like substance. It's not exactly what we're expecting. It's the Chargers and Lions kind of in name only. But there's always something to talk about and to watch for that. But I want to get started with a few news-ish headlines. Obviously, training camp is going on, which means we had a lot of injuries to sort of pay attention to. Last week, the big one was Justin Fields that caused a little bit of a mini freak out when he was carted off. Turns out it wasn't really that serious. It was a dislocated non-big toe. In fact, he was back on the practice field the very next day. So we've got some other guys who have left practice. Things, I guess, to sort of keep an eye on, but maybe nothing to freak out over just yet. Xavier Worthy was reportedly carted off. Again, I don't know if this is a serious thing or if this is just like a Justin Fields thing. Can you elaborate on that? Because I am on the clock right now.
We're looking for updates and stuff. Last I saw was just that he exited the field today. I know Marquise Brown was also a little bit banged up, but we're also at that time of year where teams are being overly cautious. And like, I'll speak from the Bills standpoint. Like, they have like 7 or 8 players right now being held out because of like injuries. And a lot of them have said like, if it was a season, we could play. And I think that's with a lot of these injuries right now, because one, it's the ramp up period. So you don't want anyone to push it and then maybe take something that's a minor injury and turn it into major. But also, you got 5.5 weeks before week 1. Like, right. If you can ever be cautious and optimistic and stuff like that, it's right now.
Yeah. So Xavier Worthy appeared to be shaken up. I'm not gonna freak out until we get more information that it's actually serious. Malik Neighbors had a shoulder issue. He left practice. It sounds like he's kind of done for the day, but it also sounds like, again, the Giants are just exercising an abundance of caution with a player that's going to be critically important for them this year. Yeah.
Worry you? Like, look, I love Malik Neighbors. That's known if you listen to this show, and I think he should like be a top 5 wide receiver, all of that. But does it worry you at all that he dealt with the shoulder injury last year as well?
I mean, it does now. Now that you said that, it was not the first thing that popped into my head. No, I'm gonna just say, look, they're just sort of exercising caution. I don't even know do we know if it's the same shoulder, if it's a different shoulder?
I do not. I just saw shoulder, and first thing I thought of was like, I know that bothered him last year too.
Yeah. So right now I'm choosing to not freak out over any of these things, but we are going to be hit with a deluge of these sorts of tweets and posts and stuff for the next few weeks. So we're going to have to learn to kind of temper our emotions at this point. One that does appear to be a little bit serious is Joe Mixon dealing with a foot injury. He is on the team's non-football injury list, but Florio, there's talk that he could be out for an extended period of time, and it's possible he could miss week 1. I know you're on the clock right now, so
am I?
Yeah, I believe you're on the clock. Yeah, you are. Which, by the way, for an update, my 4th round pick was DJ Moore. I feel like I needed to get a wide receiver before too many more of them went, so he was my 4th round pick. But back to Joe Mixon, foot injury. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reporting that it could be an extended period of time that he is out of action. Chance that he misses week 1 of the season, a game against the Los Angeles Rams. With this news, I mean, when we talk about missing regular season games, and that's going to affect ADP, how far do you think he's going to fall down draft boards at this point?
I wish we had Laquan here today, because Laquan has been the Joe Mixon believer on this show. But looking at his ADP before he got hurt, he was, I'm pulling it up now, but I believe he was going in like the 5th round.
Yeah, like late 4th, early 5th. Yeah.
that needs to fall. And for me, it needs to fall a good amount. So on underdog ADP right now, he's in the 6th round, but like the 7th round has like DeAndre Swift, Isaiah Pacheco. I'm taking those guys over him. The 8th round is like Brian Robinson, Jordan Mason, ETN. 9th round. So like 8th, 9th round, I guess is probably where I expect his ADP to settle. But maybe this is just me being like, I already was kind of out on Mixon, but injury history. Plus, he's getting up there in age. He already missed a bunch of time last year. I think he missed like 4 games last season. I have big concerns with Joe Mixon because it's not like this is just a foot injury that popped up at training camp. Like the Texans have admitted that this has been going on since the spring, and they downplayed it when he missed minicamp and stuff like that. So to me, this is really concerning. And football is such a violent game where players are going to get hurt in season that I don't know if I know in the past I've been like, I'll take an injury discount on a player, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I think when you have a back that's already up there in age and who already has a history of missing time, it's a little bit different. And so for me, I don't really see myself, unless we get a huge discount on Joe Mixon, really being in on him. But with that said, like, I think I'm out on this Texans backfield altogether. Like, I don't know if you saw the quotes on Nick Chubb. They are not good. They're like, he's not the same guy. And like,
by the way, you're on the clock. You got less than a minute, by the way. I was trying to wait for you to finish, but you were going to keep going. So I was like, well, let's
yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing with Mixon is, to your point, he has been good to miss a couple of games pretty much every year. There's only been a couple of times in his career where he's played every game during the season. I know that is sort of the case with every running back, but, you know, with Mixon especially, just because his production week to week tends to be a little bit inconsistent, the fact that he could miss some time, especially early in the year, and the fact that he's going to miss kind of that ramp up time. You know, I think being able to be there in camp, work with this team, I get it. He was there last year, had a very good year, but I still think there's something to be said for just getting that timing down as you get into the regular season. And then the thought that he could miss possibly week 1, and who knows beyond that, a little bit disconcerting. I mean, real quick, I'll just give you some names though. Joe Mixon or Caleb Johnson?
Caleb Johnson.
Joe Mixon or Tony Pollard?
Tony Pollard.
Joe Mixon or Brian Robinson?
That we're getting to a range where I think Mixon belongs in that group.
All right.
I'd probably go the healthy Robinson, though.
Okay, a couple more. Joe Mixon or Tyrone Tracy?
I'm the Cam Scadaboo guy, but yeah, so I guess I'll go Mixon there.
All right. Joe Mixon or Jaylen Warren?
I feel like there's more upside with Mixon, but I don't feel great. Like, I don't want to be in the market for needing needing my RB2 in that range, you know?
All right. Yeah. Okay. So then right now you're looking at, you know, based on Fantasy Pros ADPs, you're looking right around running back 31, 32, something like that for Joe Mixon, which kind of right now puts him in the mid RB3 range.
On Brian Robinson, though, I just want to mention this name. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt is getting so much hype out of their camp right now. So just another headache maybe for that backfield, because Robinson and Eckler probably aren't going away.
Yeah, I think that's kind of something to pay attention to. I'm back on the clock. The wide receivers have thinned out quickly.
And also, I don't want to say what site we're playing on, but the rankings on this site are not great. Nothing on this site is great, but
yeah, the wide receivers have thinned out really, really quickly. I am going to go and I'll take Devonta Smith. All right, so my wide receivers, Devonta Smith and DJ Moore, to go along with Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Bijan Robinson. All right,
pretty good start.
I feel okay about it. Deebo Samuel says, quote, I got a lot left in the tank. He's getting a lot of positive reviews for what's going on at training camp in Washington. We haven't talked a ton about Deebo, but your expectations for him now that he's in a new place?
Well, one, I can't wait for the day where a player comes out and is like, I'm on E. Like, I got nothing left.
I'm washed, y'all.
Cordell Patterson did call himself washed yesterday, which was pretty funny. I think Deebo is a better real life player at this point in his career than fantasy. But I do think him being in Washington is a great thing for Jaden Daniels, because last year, they had no one that could really get them yak. And Deebo had more yak than any Commanders wide receiver. And a lot of those like short, quick, like catch and run type of throws were going to Zach Ertz. And no offense to Zach Ertz, he's got no catch and run ability left in him. Like, he was kind of a catch and go down type of target. So I think if you add in that yak, like, think about how good Jaden was. And now if he has the chance to turn short passes into big chunk plays because Deebo can still do that, I think that helps a lot. But I also worry about Deebo's impact on this backfield, because we already said now they got the rookie, they got Brian Robinson, they got Austin Eckler. Deebo he's not going to be a full-time running back, but he will get some carries here and there. So for me, this, as good as I think this Commanders offense could be, it's like Jaden and Terry, and those are the pieces I want from it. After that, I think it's like a grouping that is going to be much better for real life purposes, but I think very inconsistent week to week for fantasy.
Right. And I think that sort of sums up Deebo, right? Is that there very well might be a couple of spike weeks in there, right? Because I think they're going to use him in a similar fashion to what Kyle Shanahan's done the last couple of years, where he will do a lot of the underneath, a lot of the dirty work, a lot of short routes. They'll look for him to have yards after the catch, all those sorts of things. But I think the big plays are going to come from Terry McLaurin. I think they're going to try to find them in the running game. I'm not sure how. But I think Deebo on a week-to-week basis is going to be inconsistent. It'll be great for the Commanders' offense, not great for your fantasy team.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Oh, you're
right
on the
now.
Clock. So
I am on the clock. I know. I'm looking at a couple of guys.
It's really hard because I don't know about you. I turned the sound off, so I'm not hearing like every pick.
I thought about doing that, but I left the sound on just so I knew when I was coming up on the clock. I'm looking at a couple of guys that I know you like, and I'm debating which one of them I'm going to take. And
is it a running back?
Yeah.
Oh, please don't take the one I'm hoping to get.
I will skip the one that I think you want to get. So I am going to draft Isaiah Pacheco. And I thought about not doing it. It sort of worried me because I have Mahomes. Like, do I really want Pacheco as well? But I do think Isaiah Pacheco's is due for a bounce back this year. There's another running back who is a rookie who plays in the AFC East, who I know you really, really like. And,
to be fair, those were either one of those two running backs were the two I was like, I want this to be my next pick.
Yeah, well, because I was looking for maybe DeAndre Swift or James Conner, and both those guys went off the board just before it got back to me. So,
for what it's worth, like, we're in the sixth. It's super flex. Usually this like fifth, sixth round in a regular, but like, I love the running backs in this range.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good running backs here. I felt good about a lot of options.
Laquan with another Laquan pick, taking RJ Harvey.
RJ Harvey, man, this is classic Laquan. Other quick bit of news-ish. According to head coach Kellen Moore, Jake Haener is getting a real shot at a three-man race at the quarterback position in New Orleans. We're going to talk about the Saints in just a little bit. But when you look at this group, I mean, I don't think the expectations are high. I know you're on the clock right now, so I will kind of filibuster.
And all the running backs I wanted are gone, unfortunately.
So somebody took Trevion Henderson, huh? Just before that.
Yep, I got sniped.
Yeah, see, well, yeah, it could have been me, but it wasn't because, we're sort of collaborating here, I guess. But obviously, I think the talk right now is that Tyler Shuck's going to get maybe the first crack at things. Spencer Rattler is very much in the mix. The idea of Jake Haener getting a shot maybe throws a little bit of a wrinkle into things. But Florio, I know the expectations aren't high for the Saints offensively this year. What is the best case scenario? And I guess my question really is, who do we want to be the quarterback here?
I think personally, Tyler Shuck is who I'm rooting for because a lot of college experience, which you could say about Spencer Rattler as well. Good arm, not great, but has that like gunslinger mentality. I don't think he'll be afraid to take deep shots and stuff like that. Will they work? Sometimes, not all the time. But I think best case scenario, though, is the Saints pick one and ride with that player, because we could talk about lots of experience in the past, but nothing is more frustrating than when a offense is constantly changing its quarterback, because obviously the tendencies change, but also like which player does this quarterback have the chemistry with and stuff like that. And it makes it almost where you have to take a wait and see approach every time a quarterback changes. So look, I'm not going after the Saints. I know we're going to talk about them, but if you are, you just hope that one of these guys wins the job.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the thing. And I feel like that's the thing in a lot of places, right? I think you could say the same thing in Indianapolis, where whichever way you decide to go at quarterback, if it's Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, just ride with that guy, barring injury or something like that. I just don't want a revolving door. I think you could say the same in Cleveland too, right? With whatever of the 4 quarterbacks the Browns decide to land on, just have that be the guy for as long as you possibly can. We are still mock drafting. Shout out to our pal Andrew Cooper over at Fantasy Alarm. We are about midway through round 7. I'm going to be on the clock in just a bit. So I scroll, I see Joe Mixon. Not drafting him in the 7th round here.
The running back run in the 6th round was crazy.
Was insane.
Because I was sitting there like 8 picks away, like there's 6 running backs I'm good with here. And none of them made it to me.
If you want to go through the run, it was Javonte Williams, DeAndre Swift, James Conner. I took Isaiah Pacheco. Chuba Hubbard went right after that. JJ McCarthy breaks up the run, but then you get RJ Harvey and Trevion Henderson before Florio takes TJ Hawkinson. So yeah, just an insane running back string there in the 6th round. We finished up the first segment talking about the Saints offense. Whether or not Jake Haener does get a real shot at quarterback remains to be seen. And what does that mean for the regular season? I think it's way too early to be able to tell. But I finished with that on purpose because I wanted to get into offenses that we aren't really super excited about. In fact, I made the title of this show Most Scariest Fantasy Offenses, parentheses, derogatory. Because
I like that you had to emphasize that.
Right? Like, they're not scary and like, oh my goodness, there's so many weapons. Like, what are we going to do? This is like scary as in like, I don't want to draft these guys because this could sink my year. But let's start with the Saints, right? Because, they had that explosion the first 2 weeks of the season where they scored like 91 points. And then it was a slog the rest of the year with this group. Now they're going through major quarterback changes. They've overhauled a lot of things. The expectation is this team is going to be bad this year. But is there somebody there in New Orleans that you can look at and say, you know what? I can make a really strong case for drafting him. Not just hey, I'll take him at ADP or if he falls in my lap. Just a guy that you're like, hey, look, I would be proud to tell you that I have this player on my team.
There is not. Mine is solely the first reason you said because of the ADP. And that's Chris Olave. Because my thinking is like, look, one, I'm avoiding the same. Like I like Kellen Moore as a play caller, but it's possible we see all 3 quarterbacks play this year. And like I was talking about last segment, that could be a headache for fantasy purposes. But the one thing I feel good about, and then you can make a case Alvin Kamara, right? But he's at that age cliff where any year could be the year that he falls off. And he was starting to approach that before last season, which gives me pause. So the thing I feel best about is that one, he's healthy and out there. Chris Olave will be the top target for the Saints. What will that look like? Probably a lot of inconsistencies. But at ADP of wide receiver 34 right now, this is a guy that for years was going as a top 12 wide receiver, going as a first or second round pick. Like last year, I remember we were all arguing if he's worth a second round pick and stuff. Now you're getting him rounds later. Look at the wide receivers going right after him. It's like Juwan Jennings, Jordan Addison, Deebo Samuel, Jerry Jeudy. I could argue that Olave brings the most upside, maybe outside of Juwan Jennings. I can make an easy argument that he brings the most upside of those receivers in his immediate range. So at that cost, it's not I'm proud to have him on my team pick. It's more like there's still some upside here at a reduced cost.
All right, that's fair. I think Olave is kind of the guy. He's going to go earlier. I'd say the three earliest guys are going to be Alvin Kamara, who look, it could be great. This could be the year it all falls apart. Who knows for Kamara?
Do you find yourself targeting him? Because I don't.
No, I do not.
Same.
I do not. Then there's going to be Olave, who I think a lot of people are going to look at and at ADP and the fact that a healthy Olave is probably going to be the target leader, that makes him worth taking. The guy that I am willing to take a swing at is going to be Rashid Shaheed. He's had an extended period of time to get healthy after an injury last year. He's kind of low-key a BSOHL candidate. He apparently has bulked up this year, trying to just get stronger. He's already fast. We know that. And I think, though, he is a guy where he could be sort of quarterback dependent. I think you're going to want a quarterback who's going to be willing to take shots down the field. And that's where Shaheed's value is going to lie. Now, I'm curious whether or not Kellen Moore is going to draw some extra things up to kind of get him a little bit more involved in the offense, to kind of find different ways of getting him the football. But I just think and maybe this is me falling back into this trap where the ADP is definitely helps. But I do think you're going to see an expanded role for him this year. And so, when you look around and the guys that are going around him at wide receiver, Trey Harris is still very much an unknown. Same with Jaden Higgins in the Texans wide receiver room. There's just not a lot of clarity there beyond Nico Collins. I think Marquise Brown actually might be being underdrafted. I think he's going to, outperform his ADP for sure. Marvin Mims, maybe if he ever is officially introduced to Sean Payton, we can start talking about Marvin Mims again. Jack Besh. I mean, it's there are a lot of names around where Shaheed is going. Yeah, where it's just there's so many question marks where at least we have some idea of what it looks like with Rashid Shaheed. So I feel like I can make a pretty good case for him in New Orleans.
Mandatory shout out to Patrick Claybon, because we talked about Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, that's been his dude for the last year or two. So a shout out to him for sure. Over in Cleveland, the Browns, obviously headlining them from a fantasy perspective is the fact that there are 4 quarterbacks that are there that we're sort of trying to sift through. Are you of the belief that Joe Flacco is the week 1 starter?
I think more than likely, yes. I think the early camp battle for who's going to start is between Flacco and Pickett. And then I think the rookies are battling for who's going to play more in the second half of the year, because it ain't going to work out with Flacco or Pickett. So especially worth mentioning too, they have no idea what's going on with Quinshon Judkins right now. Yeah. And if he's going to be there or not this year. It's starting to look more and more like he might not play for them. So there goes the running game as well. This is a gross offense. It
is really, really bad. Yeah, Quinshon Judkins, obviously away from the team, has not signed his contract, was arrested a couple of weeks ago on charges of battery and domestic violence. The Browns sort of trying to navigate that, but certainly is not optimistic.
He's unsigned too. So
yeah, I believe he is the last draft pick to sign. So that's definitely a big thing going on with him.
You are on the clock, though.
Yeah, I'm scrolling as I'm talking here, trying to figure out what I want to do. And we got to keep scrolling. Eesh, the wide receivers are not great here. So I'm going to go back to the running back well. And all right, maybe he's old, but I still believe in Aaron Jones. So I will take him with my 8th round pick. And that leaves Jordan Mason for Laquan later on in the draft. You can take him. Being that the Browns offense, though, is gross, if you had to mildly, softly pound the table for someone, maybe tap the table, knock on the table for a Brown, who would it be?
I am the one who knocks for Deontay Johnson. Look, I'm not the Jerry. I've already kind of been vocal on this. I'm not the Jerry Jeudy supporter. I think it was just a perfect storm of having a play caller who peppers his wide receiver 1 with targets, and having a quarterback like Jameis Winston who is just locks in on his wide receiver 1. That really led to him having that stretch last season. But Deontay Johnson, I know he's coming off of one of the weirdest years in recent memory, but none of it had to do with his talent. In fact, when he was playing for the Panthers, he outperformed Marvin Harrison Jr. on a per game basis. Like he outperformed Khalil Shakir on a per game basis. Like he was productive. And now he is still one of the best at getting open, creating separation, all of that. He is, though maybe like the Browns were the only team that offered him a contract. I think he knows that like this is huge. Yeah. This is it. If his head is on straight, we know he could get open. And I believe he has a chance to be this team's top target. But yet, not only in best ball drafts to see like an 18th round pick, in most of your home leagues when you're drafting this month, he's going to go undrafted. So at that such a cheap, reduced cost, I am in on Deontay Johnson.
All right. So Deontay Johnson being one. I'm going to go with David Njoku. I look at what this offense potentially is. I look at the quarterback options. And I'll say this. I think they're going to make Joe Flacco the week one starting quarterback. I honestly think they would be better off going with either Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders as their QB1 from the beginning, because you are not expected to go anywhere, right? There are no expectations that the Browns are going to be competitive, that they're going to be a playoff team. Why not put the young guys back there, see what you have, see if there's something to develop and to build around. And if it turns out that neither of them are the answer, that they are both bad, put yourself in position to take another bite at the quarterback apple in next year's draft, right? Maybe you are in on the March for Arch for next year, which, by the way, so I think it's your thoughts on this. I've come up with March for Arch. I've had a friend who came up with Arch Madness. Which one do you prefer? Arch Madness is really good. Arch Madness
I was
is really
with
good.
you for March for Arch, but Arch Madness, I think might clear it.
Arch Madness is really, really good. Like, I'm willing to stand down on March for Arch.
When you first, I was like, that's not going to be topped. And then, that might have been topped.
Arch Madness is really, really good. So anyway, the Browns could be in on Arch Madness. But why not give him? I mean, there's no point. I just feel like there's no point on having Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett start. You kind of know what that is, and you know you're not going anywhere. Like, those guys aren't going to be the key to suddenly make you a playoff team. So, like, why would you bother?
I think it was the Browns owner today who said he thinks Arch Madness. He was like, I know the Mannings. They go to college for 2 years, so he doesn't expect it to happen right away.
All right. You're back on the clock again, by the way. So
this range of this draft is awful.
It's weird for sure. Anyway, this is a long way of saying that I'm in on David Njoku because I look at this team and the quarterback situation is a mess. The offensive line is not particularly going to be great. I just think you're going to have quarterbacks, whoever they are, under a lot of duress. You also don't necessarily have a ton of mobile guys. I think Shedeur Sanders is probably more mobile than he gives himself credit for. Like when I watched him at Colorado, there were plenty of times where I felt like he could have and probably should have taken off and run. Instead, he wanted to stay in the pocket and try to make big plays with his arm. And I mean, it's commendable, but I don't know that it helps you or your offense in the long run. But either way, whoever the quarterback is going to be under pressure a lot, which means a lot of quick, short throws, right? Getting it out quickly, getting the ball in the hands of your playmakers and letting them work. And I think that's going to apply a lot to David Njoku. So, he's not going off the board as one of the first 6 or 8 tight ends, but I do think the ceiling has him amongst that group just because I think the targets are going to be there because they're going to have to be there. I think more than anything with this group. I guess it's the Tennessee Titans. And all apologies to our pal and former podcast producer here, Justin Graver. The Titans are going to be bad. And I know people are trying to get excited about Cam Ward. I've seen a lot of Cam Ward's got that dog in him and, whatever. But the personnel around him is not particularly great. Who are you at least willing to maybe take a swing at and be like, all right, I can sort of live with this?
This is one that, like, when you asked about the Saints, like, who are you proud to roster? Mm-hmm. It's this one. Calvin Ridley is my guy.
All right.
He has been for like 3 years now, I feel like. But you look at what he did last season, 120 targets, over 1,000 yards, only the 4 touchdowns. Like, to me, it feels a lot like that was his floor. And you look at it, like the quarterback play ranged from awful to slightly less awful last year. Like Will Levis wasn't good. Mason Rudolph, I know people thought he was good, but I think that's only because people watched Will Levis play for so long. By comparison, like to me, Cam Ward brings way more upside than either of those two quarterbacks last year. And I think you could make an argument that Cam Ward could, I don't know if as rookie outperform what Trevor Lawrence was 2 years ago, but like could play in that range. But unlike those last 2 years, there's not a clear-cut number 2 target. Like I know D-Hop was kind of washed last year, but he was still getting volume. And then in Jacksonville, there was Christian Kirk. So I think it's possible that we see Calvin Ridley get back to that like 135, 140 target range that we've seen him have some years in the past. A better quarterback should lead to more scoring opportunities. I find myself a lot higher on Calvin Ridley than consensus. I thought I could wait in this draft and maybe still end up with him, but our boy Laquan also likes him. But yeah, for me, like I don't really find myself in many Titans, but Calvin Ridley is one that I like will pull up a little bit if I have to.
All right. Yeah, Ridley, he is one. I guess because I'm just generally sort of meh about the Titans offense. I think Ridley falls under that category for me.
Has a number 1 QB ever gotten less? I know this is a Kyle Brandt talking point, but like at this point, it's true. Like I don't think we've ever talked less about a number 1 pick.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, because like, I mean, we've talked more about Shedeur Sanders, right? than we have Cam Ward, and
even during the draft process, it was like, all right, well, Ward's 1. Like that was the most we talked about him. Like,
pretty much, yeah. I don't know if you've seen, Drew Magary does his yearly "Why Your Team Sucks" series, which is always hilarious. I just happened to come across the Titans one the other day, and it always is funny because he includes emails, letters from fans of the particular team at the end, and somebody was talking about that. One of the letters talked about Cam Ward, and it's like, no one's talked about Cam Ward. Like, I'm surprised that the TV networks didn't just cut away immediately once it wasn't Shedeur Sanders at the number 1 pick.
It's like first pick, get up, and that's it.
So no, you're right. For a number 1 overall pick, he's gotten very little hype. I'm sticking with a guy that I have been on pretty much all offseason long, and that's Elic Iomenor. There was always a chance. He was one of 2 4th-round wide receiver picks for the Titans, but he's the one who I think has gotten the most attention. And that's continued so far in the early part of training camp, that, you watch the beat reports, and they've said that, not only just off the field has he proven to be just a very nice, engaging guy, but that he seems to be picking up the playbook very quickly and getting up to speed very quickly. And it's a wide receiver room that doesn't have much. I mean, I think the best description I saw, somebody wrote that the depth chart at wide receiver for the Titans had Calvin Ridley followed by hopes and then prayers. Like that was the wide receiver room. So there's very much a chance for Iomenor to come in and be an impact player. And granted, look, you're not drafting him expecting you're going to throw him in the lineup every single week, but he's one of those guys that you can draft late, see how he develops, and maybe by the time, we get a month or 2 into the season, he looks like a guy that could be a nice flex option for you. Look, so I'm there.
This Titans receiver room would have dominated the NFL in 2018. they got Ridley, Lockett, and Van Jefferson. Like,
yeah, like I've seen early talk that Tyler Lockett is like number 5 on the depth chart right now. Like, yikes.
I'm convinced that Tyler Lockett's in Tennessee right now because he knows Nashville is an up and coming city and he's trying to sell real estate.
You know what? He's got the real estate thing like that he's working on right now. I know he was doing that in Seattle, trying to help people find homes. So you're right.
Nashville is booming, apparently.
It is booming. The Sun Belt area of the country doing well when it comes to housing. So look, man, I've always said, as I'm on the clock here, that one of Peyton Manning's most brilliant business moves was buying a slew of pizza places right as Colorado legalized marijuana. I'm like, why wouldn't you?
And not just regular pizza places, the pizza places that are open late night.
Yes, exactly. Like, he knew what was going on.
Look, he doesn't have to pay an ad. It's like Ryan Reynolds with Mint Mobile, right? Like he doesn't have to pay an ad guy. He just buys a green screen and records it himself. Like, it's pretty smart.
Yeah, for sure. I just took it's kind of mid to late round, so I'm taking guys that maybe are injured, but I think have upside when they're healthy. I took Chris Godwin in the 9th round. I took our boy Joe Mixon in the 10th. He was just hanging out there. It's the 10th round. Joe Mixon was still there. Like I'm gonna take Joe
at that
Mixon.
point. Yeah, I get that.
I'm taking Joe Mixon. All right, so through 9 rounds, my team, I have Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Bijan Robinson, Isaiah Pacheco, DJ Moore, Devonta Smith, Chris Godwin, Sam Laporta, Aaron Jones, and Joe Mixon. I kind of like this team.
I do as well.
I like this team. What does your roster look like right now?
I'm on deck in the 9th, but I have Josh Allen, Devon Achane, Lad McConkey, Justin Fields, Terry McLaurin, TJ Hawkinson, Caleb Johnson, Juwan Jennings, Cam
you're the one who took Juwan Jennings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had him.
Sorry.
I had him ready to go.
I'm going to take another. I don't know how you feel about him, but kind of similar to your point with like when the guys are like, that's how I view Brandon Ayuk. Like, I'm not drafting him to be a starter, but if he could get back to Brandon Ayuk, even close to that in the second half of the year, I have an every week starter now. So yeah. I find myself drafting him a good amount.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% there. That, I think what we saw before the injury seemed to be where he was trending. Last year, without a doubt, was a bad year. He had the holdout, then he got hurt. All that was bad. But I think if he can put that behind him, I think you end up with a solid, at worst, I think high-end wide receiver too. So no, I have no problem with that at all. There you go. Those are offenses. Saints, Browns, Titans, making some cases for guys that maybe you want to take a shot at in your drafts. Football-like substance hits your television on Thursday night, the Hall of Fame game, 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock. More realistically, probably like 8:20 Eastern. Can I have a minor complaint here? Can I old man yell at cloud for a second?
Yeah, please do.
One thing that sports in other countries do better than us, they don't lie about the time the games start. Like when a soccer match says it is starting at noon, you turn on at noon and they are kicking that thing off. It's not that you turn it on at noon and they want to do pregame interviews with the coaches and then show you the anthem and then do the players. Like, no, we told you this game is starting at noon. It is starting at noon. Like, when you should do all the pregame stuff? In the pregame show, we have a whole ass pregame show that, if I, as a fan, want to tune in, if I want to see a pregame interview with the coach, if I want to see the national anthem, if I want to watch the guys run out on the field, do all of that in the pregame show. But if you tell me the game's going to start at 8, when I turn it on at 8, I want them to be kicking the ball off. That's all. And especially like Super Bowl, like you have 8 whole hours that you can do all this other stuff. Like we don't need, I enjoy watching cooking videos as much as the next person. We don't need a whole hour on like what people are grilling on Super Bowl Sunday. Like we can cut that out and then we can do we can have The Rock give his pregame speech from the field during the pregame show so that when we're ready to play the Super Bowl, we just play the Super Bowl.
But how are they going to get those extra commercials in, Marcus? Think about all the capitalists who need their advertising.
I'm going to hold my tongue on that. Anyway, the Hall of Fame game is scheduled for 8 p.m. Eastern Thursday on NBC and Peacock. Look, I know people are excited. Football in its own special way is back. We know how this thing goes, right? How much of the Hall of Fame game do you expect you're going to tune in for?
So I won't lie. I will be on my couch with it on as if it was week 1 of the kickoff because I'm look, it's been since February. We're at what, like 8 months since our last football game. I'm starved for it. I want to watch it. Yeah. But then by like the second quarter, I'll be like, who are these guys? I'll leave it on. I'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, I'll be cooking or eating or doing something like that. This game, look, it's fun. It's exciting. It gets our football juices flowing again. You get nothing out of it fantasy-wise. You get nothing out of it, like analysis wise, because the one thing we thought we could take away from it a couple years ago was Josh Jacobs is playing. This must be a bad thing. And then he had his career year. So you know what it signifies more than anything, Marcus, that a week from then we will be in Canton, Ohio.
Yes. The Fantasy Football Expo is coming in just a couple of weeks. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We should talk more about that probably in the week or so to come. For those of you who are planning to go, would love to see you there. If you are not planning to go, it's probably not too late. You can maybe cobble something together and get out there. It is a great time. I will admit to you that I will probably turn it on, but I will be doing other things at the same time as that's going on. I'll be honest with you. It's late July. It's also the same day as the MLB trading deadline, so that's gonna. I
do like that the deadline is at 3 our time, and then the game is, I think, 4 or 5.
Yeah, so we had a couple hours to talk baseball trades before football happens.
I think the Mets are off. They are. They're off Thursday too.
The Dodgers are off that day too, so I won't have to worry about watching that.
The Mets did you guys a favor and swept the Giants this past weekend.
And we thank you for your service. Absolutely.
They should have beat the Padres last night, but that's their reliever didn't cover first base. Annoying.
Pulled a
Garrett Cole.
Pulled a Garrett Cole. Good job. I will have the game on. I'm sure I will be doing other things. And I think especially, as you mentioned, by the time we get to the second quarter, and definitely by the time we get to the second half, very little attention will be paid to it. I will come back and maybe check. I'll check social media and see who seem to put up decent numbers in that game.
I know it's called the Hall of Fame game, but friend of the show, I think we should call it the Emory Hunt Bowl, because only Emory Hunt is going to know the players in the second half. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Anybody in particular that you are checking for in this thing?
Who's going to be playing? Like that. If any of the starters or even the rotational pieces, any of those guys are in, and look, if you want to pay attention, like, we will hear that day, like, who the team is planning on giving reps to and stuff, but it's kind of a guessing game until then. But yeah, that's what I'll be looking more than anything. And that's what I think preseason, not the Hall of Fame game really, but like preseason, I don't want to see like huge performances. I more want to see who's getting the snaps with the starters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the important thing. Gavin, our producer, who also is a resident Charger fan, is giving a shout out to Keandre Lambert-Smith, who
getting hype right now.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. I took him with I think my last pick in the Scott Fish Bowl. So who knows? Maybe something happens there. Yeah, I think we'll get to see some of these rookies. I would imagine we'll see a little bit of Trey Harris. I think we will see Lambert-Smith. I don't know how much of Omarion Hampton. He may get a couple of carries here and there. So I think that's going to be sort of interesting to watch. Yeah, I think that'll be kind of interesting to watch on that side of things. I think on the Lions side, I don't know. I would be shocked if we see Goff or Gibbs or Montgomery, Laporta, Amon-Ra. Like, those guys
They're also proven. Like,
yeah, I mean, those guys will probably be in street clothes for the majority of it. Curious to see Isaac Tesla. Is it Tesla? Is it Tesla? I'm not sure how we pronounce it.
I like Tesla because it doesn't sound like the car.
That's fair. So we'll see him. I think for sure he was a guy who got a lot of hype, I think, coming out of the draft. So, I'm curious kind of how he performs if he gets an opportunity in this one. So, I'm kind of with you. I just want to see who is getting the early snaps. I think is kind of the way to go. And then the second half, if there's somebody who has a good second half, I think that becomes sort of a name to pay attention to. But I think more than anything, people are just excited to watch a football game.
Yeah, that's what this is more than anything, right? Like, don't go into it expecting to get answers for the season. Just enjoy that football is back on your screen for a couple hours.
There will be takes. There will be takes had over the weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There will be takes, because that's just what people do.
I am getting excited though, because the Hall of Fame game is usually like Hard Knocks comes right after that. So
Yeah, it's like your Bills are the feature team on Hard Knocks.
August 5th. So next Tuesday. Yeah. So perfect. Like,
all right.
I was driving over the weekend and there was a huge billboard that had Christian Benford on it. And I was like, this is why I like Hard Knocks, because no one knows who that is.
Right.
But he deserves to shine. Like,
oh man, that'll be fun. By the way, a quick note, Florio and I will be at Rams training camp this week. So look for our interviews. They should be dropping on Thursday. No cheat sheet coming up this week. Instead, we will hit you with our interviews that we do out at Rams camp. Not sure who we're going to talk to just yet. We're efforting some big names. We're not optimistic. Like, we're not optimistic that they're going to send us Matthew Stafford or Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams. Would be great. We will see. But
Tutu Atwell, baby.
Stick around. It should be interesting though to see. Kind of watch them at work there and, talk to some guys about what their expectations are for the year for sure. So there you go. I'm not on the clock for a while, so I got a little bit of time before I get back on the clock for the draft. Very interesting. Again, go check out Andrew Cooper over at Fantasy Alarm. He'll be doing a whole write-up on this mock draft. Hopefully it will sound a lot clearer than we made it sound as we were interjecting during the course of this podcast. There you go. That'll do it for this edition of the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. Stay happy, safe, and healthy. Do good and live well. Enjoy the days, everybody. Enjoy the Hall of Fame game, because we will not talk to you again for a live show until afterwards. But we will talk to you all again very, very soon.